Hello. It's like I've been here before. How's everybody doing today? We are here to talk about struggling to stay consistent. This is why you keep slipping. This is all about the carnivore diet, carnivore lifestyle. That's what I advocate for is the carnivore lifestyle because we are literally bombarded with nonsense. And we are told that red meat, saturated fat, and salt are bad for us. When in all reality, the people pointing the fingers at us and telling us we're going to have a heart attack are literally eating donuts and sugar and grains and seed oils. And they're telling us we're going to die. So wild. I can't see if I am live. I'm live, you guys. It's so exciting. Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about why you're feeling like you keep slipping and what you can actually do about it. Because if I tell you what it is, but I don't tell you why, it's going to be useless. All right, let's see, people. So it says I'm live, but I can't see it. 2 minutes. Nope, that's not it. This video has been removed. It's insane to me. I just wish that I could figure out how to get everything situated. View my channel. Okay, there I am looking to the side. Yes, it's working. Finally, we got it here. Okay, today we're really going to talk about how you are stuck and mostly why you are stuck. You are believing some nonsense, y'all. And I am here to tell you, you got to stop believing the nonsense. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And let's grab my notes. Okay, so ladies, have you been trying to do carnivore and you can't figure out exactly why you keep falling off or you keep failing or you keep struggling? But you want to be successful. You want to figure this out. You want to nail it down and you want it to be your identity versus something that you're trying to always do. Is that you? If that's you, I want you to tell me how long you've been trying carnivore. And just so you know, Yoda says there's no such thing as trying. You're either doing the thing or you're not doing the thing. So how's that going for you? Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can see. It seems to be stuck. Okay, there we go. All right, I can hear myself. Cool. All right, so is anybody here? And I want you to let me know, what do you think is keeping you stuck? And why in the world are you doing carnivore? I mean, you've heard it's like not good for you, right? We're not going to buy into all of that nonsense, though. It says, I'm watching myself. Okay, great. That's very exciting. Okay. Here we go. And if you're doing this for a particular reason, did you write that down? Are you focused on what in the world you want to accomplish? So a lot of people do carnivore and they want the results and they put in the work and they get the results. But carnivore is a lifestyle. Carnivore is about how you experience your days, how you experience your sleep, how you experience, like I was talking to my client earlier, it's about all the things that you're doing, like all of the areas of your life come together, especially when you're doing carnivore, because it literally calms down your body and it helps it to function optimally. And it actually helps it to function properly. So when you come to carnivore, it's usually because you needed to to resolve something or to heal something. And I'm not saying carnivore heals the body. I'm saying carnivore is the tool that you use to allow your body the space in order to do its job, because God designed us to have a body that would heal itself. And when you give your body the proper fuel, the proper environment to heal, it will heal. But when you keep doing things, let's say you do things that are stressful to the body, like when you eat seed oils, it's very stressful to the body. When you eat sugar, that lowers your immune system for hours. It suppresses your immune system for hours after you eat. And I know that you don't want to eat those things, but they're calling your name. So let's talk about that. I've already been on here. This is the second or third time. So I'm going to just start from the beginning and I'm going to talk to you about, see if I can control this. I'm going to talk to you about why this is happening. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to go. Let's just do it. Okay, so today we're talking about something that I hear all the time, and it's struggling to stay consistent, doing well for a few days and then slipping, or being around family or your spouse, and it just feels easier to go along with them. And then it feels like you're back at the beginning again. And I want to start here because this is not just about willpower. And give me a second. Hang tight, my peeps. Okay, hang on one second. I'd love for you to share in the comments what's the biggest struggle for you? Is it staying consistent? Is it slipping on sugar? Is it just having family that doesn't support you and it's just easier to go along with them? One of my dogs is dreaming. I can hear them. I don't think you can hear them, but that's funny. Okay. It's so hard when you're starting and you're wanting to go in a certain direction. It's so important to know your why, because when you're changing direction and you're making a U-turn, essentially, you're going upstream or you're going in the opposite direction. So your brain is always going to be like, let's not do that. I really don't want you to do that because it's not going to be safe and you could die and all this stuff. So when you're changing direction, you have to have a strong why. You have to have it written out, detailed, and you have to be willing to deal with the discomfort of going against the grain, because when you do it long enough, your brain will be like, oh, this is what you want. Okay, I can automate that. You've asked for it over and over and over again. But in the beginning, it's like, no, we're not doing that. It's a terrible idea. This is so dangerous. Let's not do that. And so I really, really want you to understand that when you feed sugar, when you feed it, it feels really good in the moment. And then you want to go and be like, no, I don't want to do that again. And you've fed the bugs in your gut and they're like, feed me more. And you're like, I want to quit. I want to go the other way. And it's just a lot harder every time you give in. So I want to give you some suggestions about why you need to not listen to that and what you should do instead. Now, I learned back in 2019 that whenever you want to, let's say, numb out or use food to cope with crazy things in your life, the best thing you can do is not give into that. And I know that that seems a little off, but the reason being is when you give into it, it makes it a lot easier and it keeps it familiar. And then when you want to go in the other direction, it's harder. It's got a bigger pull on you. And sugar is not meant to be moderated. It's not meant to be managed. It's meant to be avoided because it was not created to be moderated. It was actually created to be a selling machine. So if they make it in a laboratory and they position it to be such a palatable taste that you want more and more and more, they're not designing it for it to be part of your health program. And I know that sometimes it's easier just to go and throw your hands up. But when you want to get to your goal and you're willing to do whatever it takes, and you're willing to give up things and you're willing to change things and be different, it's work in the beginning, but it's worth it for you to keep going because once you get past it, it's going to get a lot easier. Now, will you still think about sugar? Yes, you will. Will you still be tempted? Yes, you will. We're human. So that's a natural thing. But there are ways to really test your brain and figure out what you want in that moment and not just go into it blindly and just throw your hands up. Okay. If you are to the point where you're like, I got to make something happen, I got to change something, this is the right place. I'm so glad you're here. Let's see. I got the window open. Let me change that really quick. Lots of barking dogs. Got lots of barking dogs outside. Okay, so let me know in the comments what you're struggling with the most. Is it sugar? Is it staying on track? Is it family members and it's just hard to do things differently? Because it's like a social experiment, you know? When people are like, oh, don't do that. Do this instead. You know you want it. Just eat this. Don't do that. Speaking from experience, I can say that carnivore for me, it's not always been perfect, y'all, but carnivore for me has been a blessing, even when it's not perfect. It's been a blessing because it keeps my eyes focused on what is necessary. And it helps me to understand that all things work together for good. And when you're focused on your health and you're focused on your healing, it's interesting to have the perspective that all things work together and your sleep and your nutrients and your movement and all of the things that you do work towards the goal that you have of your health. And when you work in one area, let's say letting go of sugar and all that entails, it's so interesting how you can make a lot of headroom, like headway, and you can get pretty far just based on the fact that you know what you want and you know that in order to get there, hey Jenny, it's good to see you. My only struggle right now, let's see if I can show it. There we go. My only struggle right now is drinking enough water, but I'm working on it. So how do you make that part of it? Because you're not dealing with, the other things that I'm talking about today, but like, what are you doing to work on the sugar? I said sugar. I mean, the water. So how are you making it to where it's easy and it's like so simple? I'll give suggestions, but I would love for you to tell me what you're trying so far. See what you're doing before I give you anything. Okay. So let's see if I can get this to move. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can find where I was in my notes. Like I said, we're talking about, some women deal with, struggling on staying on track, having sugar cravings, slipping, mostly because family is like, why are you doing that? That's crazy. And then feeling like you're right back at the beginning. It's so frustrating. We've all been there. But I want to start here. It's not random. And it's not because something's wrong with you either. I know we like to blame ourselves and get frustrated with ourselves, but that's not the reason this keeps happening. And once you understand why, it starts to make a lot more sense. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. So let me check my comments. I have a water bottle next to me. Okay. This is so good, Jenny. I have a water bottle next to me all day. Okay. So how many hours go by with the water bottle beside you and you haven't drank anything out of it? Let me know. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. I am so happy for you. So you are blessed for sure. Okay. 5 hours. Okay. So do you have a phone? Okay. Wait. What are you willing to do in order to get your water in? What are you willing to do differently? I have to remind myself to drink. Okay. So how do you remind yourself? Do you have an app like alarm that goes off and tells you drink water? I mean, how much is your goal to get in every hour or every couple of hours? Like, what's your goal? What are you getting now? Okay, so do you drink the water when the reminder goes off? This is good. Okay. I've tried to set reminders before. I'm so curious how that works. Okay. All right. So I really want to walk you through consistency and how it can feel so hard, but why cravings get louder and why being around other people can make it even harder to stay on track. Then we're going to go into questions. I hope we have some more people hop on. But quick, before we get into it, if you're not inside my Facebook group, Jenny is inside my Facebook group. Definitely, that's where we go deeper. And this is where I share more support, answer questions, and stay connected to my women in the community. You can join with a link in the description. Okay, so let's start here. Hey, Jenny Reeves, what's up? You ladies can speak towards how is it inside the Facebook community? And I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so, but I was working at the time, so reminders may work now that I am retired. I tried again. Okay, that's cool. I want to hear how that goes. But yeah, we have two ladies here, and they're both inside the community. I would love for them to share how it feels to be inside the community and what we do in there. Okay. Like I said, some women think staying on track should just come naturally. And it's just as simple as making a decision and sticking with it. But real life is not that simple. Okay, let's see. Okay. Jenny. Oh, yeah, we got two Jennies here. Yeah, that's pretty cool that I have you both here. Yeah. Jenny Reeves loves her name. Okay. And then Jenny said, I love the Facebook page. It's been super helpful. Yay, that's awesome. All right. But like I said, real life is not so simple, and we're wanting everything to be easy, streamlined, and simple. Hey, Delphine, how do you like the Facebook group? I would love for you to give us some feedback. And this is my third time going live. This one actually worked. So, third is a charm. I love the encouragement. Jenny Reeves says, I love the encouragement and accountability from the group. And I post in there daily. And I also was going live in Facebook, but now I brought it over here because the lady suggested that I come here because it kept glitching and we were having problems. All right. Okay. So consistency gets harder when your environment, your habits, and your body are pulling you in different directions. So if those are not aligned, all these things, if they aren't aligned, staying on track will always feel harder than it needs to. And that is the first piece. Now, let's talk about family and environment because this is a big one. And if the people around you are eating differently, let's say differently, if your spouse wants you to go out, if certain foods are always in the house, if it feels easier to just go along with everyone else, that matters, especially when you're really working hard on your health and your mindset and your perspective, how you see things. Not because you're weak, but it's because your environment shapes your behavior. So, what is around you can affect what feels normal, and what is around you affects what feels easy. So, what's around you affects, hold on, guys. What's around you actually affects your decisions that you make in the moment, right? And it's so important that you realize that your environment is constantly pulling you away from what you are hoping for, what you want, right? And you're trying so hard to build and to stay consistent. It's going to feel harder, especially when you're first getting started or you're restarting, like we like to say. Delphine said, I enjoy the daily messages on Facebook. Your posts remind me of the basics, especially stay positive and consistent with meals. Oh, boom. Yes, it's very true. Because once you create this change, your brain goes, oh, she's doing that over and over again. Maybe we could be consistent with that. I'll just automate it. It'll just become a habit. But in the beginning, when you're trying to go in a different direction, it seems so hard and it seems like it's never going to work. But it's all about rewiring your brain. Neuroplasticity is an amazing thing that your brain has the ability to do, but you have to do the work. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it's possible when you decide what you want and you decide to take action on it. Now, let's layer in cravings because this is where some women get confused. They think cravings are just about wanting sugar, but a lot of the time, cravings get louder when something is off. If your meals are inconsistent, if you're under fueled, under eating, if your body's stressed, and if you've been going back and forth between carbs and protein and fat, cravings are going to feel stronger. Your patience will get lower. Your tolerance gets lower. Your ability to pause. I was talking to one of my clients earlier, and we were talking about how the pause, actually, I think they put it in their check-in or onboarding forms. But it's like when you pause and you decide that you're going to see it from a different perspective, it can change everything. Because your ability to pause and make a different decision will get lower in those moments when you're under a lot of stress and you have lots of things coming at you. But when you have resolve to actually place this in the non negotiables list, that's something you'll get done every single day. And I don't think you need 30 different non negotiables. You just need a few that you consistently repeat. So now let's just focus on you being in an environment where everyone else is eating something different and your body already feels off. Of course, it feels harder. Again, it's not random. You're connected and you're aware, right? And that is what I want you to see. This is usually not just one thing. It's not just cravings. It's not just your family. It's not just consistency. These things actually all work together. And when they're pulling against you all at once, it makes sense that you would slip or even think about slipping. So the shift is this: instead of asking, why do I keep messing this up? I want you to start, and some of you are not having this issue, so that part's not for you. I want you to start asking yourself, what is making this harder than it needs to be? Is it my environment? Is it meal consistency? Is it my stress? Is it the fact that I'm surrounded by things that pull me off track? Because when you start asking better questions, you stop making this all about blame and you start understanding what is actually happening. Before we go into any questions, if you want more support with the carnivore journey, the carnivore lifestyle, as I call it, and you want to be around women who are working on the same things, I want you to join my free Facebook community. That's where I go deeper on all of this. And we talk to each other and we really support one another. The link is in the description in this live. All right, so let's talk. If you have any questions, this is the perfect time to drop them. So let's see. We've got pause. Such a great first step. Gives me a second to think about what is actually happening because we don't really realize in the moment what we have going on. And when we pause, maybe even you could go outside, get some sunlight on you, and pause and ask yourself, whatever's happening, is this even true? Because we usually believe our brain. And do you know that you have 60 to 80,000 thoughts every single day that go through your mind? 75% of them are negative, and we suddenly believe everything as the gospel and we leap. I am so guilty of this. Oh my gosh. In so many areas of my life, I am on a journey to learn, grow, become a better version of myself. And I leap before I pause. And I want you to realize how powerful it is when you do pause. And I've got a couple of things I wrote down. You guys can drop any questions you have, you can drop them in the comments. But I want to, I don't know if I can get to it. Hang on. Maybe. Okay. Okay. So the first thing you do whenever you are having a moment and you're thinking that you're going to give in to temptation and you're going to let everything fly out the window, I want you to listen to me. You might want to write this down. Ask yourself, is this true? And sit with it. The magic number of minutes is 15 minutes. If you can find anything else in the world to do for 15 minutes, it shall pass. Okay. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to write down, I want you to list 10 reasons that it's a bad idea. Okay. And these can be very creative reasons. Okay. But I want you to, what is that? Looks like, oh, I know what that is. Okay. I want you to list all the reasons it doesn't support your health goals and your non negotiables. And then I want you to find any other thing in the world to do except for that. Because when you create space between you and the thought, which is a familiar thought that you want to make unfamiliar, you're literally, and I learned this from another coach, you're literally going to feel the space that you create. And some of us here are not having any of these issues, but I want to be real that all the things that come up in your life can prevent you from staying focused on your goals and your main health goal and your outcomes that you want. But the main thing to remember is that whenever you're doing anything new, it takes a bit, right? It takes a minute to get there. You're not always going to have everything perfect. You're not always going to be able to magically make it all work the way you want, but practicing, right? Because me doing these lives, especially going from Facebook, which every week we had an issue. Every week I got bumped. It would take me 15 minutes to get back in there. And I just kept doing it. And then the ladies here suggested that I come over to YouTube and they would follow me. And that's what I did because I am building a YouTube channel. And I thought, well, that's cool because then I can actually show up and create things that are helpful to people because I'm in the works of making a mini course on the basics of the carnivore lifestyle. I'm also in the works, I have created something called the carnivore lifestyle basics checklist, because I want to give you something that you can simply do, learn, and implement, right? And that will be coming out really soon. All right, so let's see. Jenny said, I'm glad to be able to be back on here and watch the live. I've been away from Facebook for a week because of traveling. I have missed this. Thank you, Jenny. I'm really excited for you. I hope that you're learning things today. And then Delphine said, these live posts are like getting an extra session with Christina. She's one of my clients. So we always have a great time. And she loves to just point out things that are super important to her during our coaching. But I actually think it's super awesome that she thinks this is like getting extra coaching. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Delphine. Okay. Now, I want you guys to tell me, where do you find it hardest to stay consistent? Maybe you're consistent, but you need to get clearer. Is it around certain people? Is it certain foods? Is it certain times of the day? Do your cravings get louder when you're tired, stressed, or around everyone else eating lots of things that you don't want to eat? I want you to leave with this. If you keep slipping, it's not random. And it's not just about trying harder. There are things that are working together that are making this harder. And when you start to see that, you stop blaming yourself and you start understanding what is actually going on. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat and I would love to answer them for you. If you just joined, we are at the end, so you'll have to watch the replay. But I would love for you to ask me carnivore lifestyle questions. Because that is why we are here, my friends. I can't actually see the viewers, but let's see. We've got Jenny, Delphine, and Jenny. Who else would like to ask a question? Now, remember in the description is the link to the Facebook group. So if you want support from like minded women who are on the same journey, who are just doing all the things and really wanting to support each other, that is an amazing place to be. And I actually do a reward system there where when you are engaging and you comment or post something, then it gets counted towards the month, and then your name gets put on the wheel of names is what I use. And what we do is I put your name on there all the times you engage for the whole month, and then you actually get your name in the drawing multiple times, and I actually record it, and then I put it in the comments of the post for the giveaway. And I am building a mini course that I'm going to be giving away. But right now we're doing 30 minutes free coaching session with me. And you get to work on whatever it is that you really want to work on. And it's amazing. And then, like I have an Instagram and I have this YouTube channel and I have the group, but I also have a podcast. So if you haven't listened to the podcast, then I would love for you to go to Apple Podcasts and you can watch videos here. I've actually, oops, almost dropped the phone. I actually have I think about 24 or 25 interviews here on YouTube where I interviewed Sean Baker and a lot of people. I have some really good ones coming out. I've just interviewed Philip, that is the founder of the Carnivore Bar. And he said, get it straight, y'all. It's a fat bar. It is not a protein bar. So, boom. Okay, ladies, I am going to hop off in a minute. And I just wanted to double check. Do you have any questions, any burning questions that you would love answered before I hop off so that you can move forward today and you can know with certainty that that question is off your list of wondering? I really appreciate y'all. So next week, we will be coming live on StreamYard and not on Riverside because Riverside kept bumping me and would not go live. Okay, I hope that you guys have an amazing day. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for working toward your carnivore lifestyle. And I know that as you show up for yourself, as you become more consistent, and as you create space between what you used to do and where you used to be and where you are now, that creates discrepancy. So your brain will be like, we don't want to do this. It'll be like, no, we don't do that anymore. That's not who we are. So let me give you this example that I learned in the Atomic Habits book by James Clear. He talks about someone having an identity and wanting a new identity. And so they basically go from being a smoker and having the ashtrays, the lighters, the cigarettes, the swing, all the things. And they literally decided in order to stop being a smoker, they had to get rid of all of the things that made them a smoker, like having the ashtrays and the lighters and the swing out on their porch. So this person literally threw out all of the things that proved they were a smoker. And they got rid of the swing on their porch. And that seems a little bit extreme. But when you're thinking the grand scheme of things is really about making sure that your identity and who you are aligns with what you do. So if you want to Be like the person. Now, when someone asked them, "Hey, do you have a cigarette?" They said, "Oh, I'm not a smoker." No. They didn't say, "No, I don't have any on me right now." They said, "No, I'm not a smoker." And that clearly shared their identity with the other person. Now, there are lots of things that can be a vice, right? You get to decide what you're willing to change and what you're willing to give up to get there. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I'm looking forward to seeing you inside the Facebook group and on the podcast. And if you have any suggestions for podcast episodes, I want you to email me at hello@carnivorelifestyle.com, or you can DM me at my.carnivore.lifestyle on Instagram. I hope that you guys have an amazing day, or you can drop it in the comments below. I always forget that part. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you.